We are beginning a new unit today. This is going to be our unit 3, and I will give you some duct tape so we can signify that in our journals later, but we need to get started. So this is unit 3, and it's our first lesson. So 3.1 is all about unit rate. And unit rate's always been something that I've really loved talking about. I just think it's really cool. I just think it's really cool that miles per hour and price per pound, all those nerdy things, I think it's awesome. But let's get started and let's talk about what is a rate. What is a rate? And why do we need to know about rates? Okay? A rate is just a special ratio that involves quantities that aren't measured the same way. And here's an example. An example is the ever popular miles and hours. So miles and hours are two different quantities, but when we put them together in a rate, we say miles per hour. Okay? I know you've heard that. So let's think about this. Okay? If you rode your bike 40 miles and it took you 2 hours to go those 40 miles on your bike, your unit rate would be 40 miles per 2 hours. And we could simplify that down to 40. This is just a ratio, which is like a fraction. 40 over 2. And that simplifies down to what? 20 over 1. So your unit rate would be 20 miles per hour. Okay? That would be your unit rate. All right? Let's say you are going shopping with your mom and you are at the grocery store and she wants you to decide which is the better brand, the price per ounce on macaroni and cheese. Okay, so you have the store brand. See the store brand. The store brand is 79 cents, and that is for 10 ounces of macaroni, 10-ounce box. Okay, and Kraft brand is 99 cents for 12 ounces. For a 12-ounce box. So how could we figure out which one is the better deal? Well, we would be doing unit rate. We would set these up as a ratio, comparing them, and then we would divide to see which one had a better cost per ounce. Okay? So what we need to do is we just set them up in a ratio. So this first one would be 79. 0.79 because it's 79 cents, and then over 10, and the second one would be 0.99 over 12, and you would just simply divide those out. Okay, so you would set them up 0.79 divided by 10, move your decimal to the top, and you would say 10 goes into 79 7 times. That's 7 with 9 left over. Okay, and then add a 0. 10 goes into 90. What? 9 times, right? Okay, so what you would end up having here is, it's actually going to be 7.9. My bad, I set that up wrong. 7.9 cents an ounce. So this is wrong. 7.9 cents an ounce would be, if you could see that, 7.9 cents, it's a cent sign, per ounce, would be the price of the unit rate of the store brand. And if we were to set up the craft brand, we could divide that out. You could show me that division. All right. I'm going to give it to you on the calculator. It's actually going to be 0.825, which means it's 8.25 cents per ounce. Okay, so we have 8.5 cents per ounce and we have a 7.9 cents per ounce. Which one would be the better deal? Well, the store brand would be. Even though it's less ounces, the cost per ounce is cheaper than the craft brand. Okay, so that's a real life scenario where you're using unit rate. So let's go over some things some unit rates that are interesting, okay? But before we do that, want to make sure in unit rate, you always have to have a unit and your rate at the unit and the rate that you're going at, it always has to be 1. Okay, your denominator always has to be 1, which is why up here, when we had 2 as our denominator at the end, 40 miles in 2 hours, we have to simplify that to get the 1 on the bottom. Here we divided it to get it per ounce, per 1 ounce. So your rate always has to be 1 on the bottom. All right, so that's key there. It always needs to be 1. Let's look at the fastest animals in the world. Do you know what the fastest land animals in the world are? Let's look at the second fastest animal. The second fastest animal is the pronghorn. Pronghorn. The pronghorn can go 55 miles per hour. And you might see us, this just means miles per hour. This is a very common abbreviation. MPH, okay? Pronghorn can go 52 miles per hour. It is number 2 on fastest land animals in the world, okay? So could you figure out and work backwards to figure out how many miles per hour or how many miles the pronghorn would run in 2 hours? Yes. Here's how you could do that. 55 miles per hour means it is going 55 miles in 1 hour. 1 hour. That's a 1. Okay? So we could figure out what it is in 2 hours by cross multiplying. Okay? 55 times 2. We'll put our hours on the bottom because that's where that unit goes. 55 times 2 would give you 110 miles. Okay? You multiply here. Okay? And then you put your answer here. And that makes sense because if you were 110 miles divided by 2 hours, it would give you 55 miles in an hour. So, do you think you know what the number 1 fastest animal is? Well, I'm going to give it to you in another way, okay? This animal can go 150 miles, not in 1 hour, but in 2 hours. It can go 150 miles in 2 hours. So I'm giving these values to you in different ways so you could see how you could always get back to the unit rate. The unit rate would be with the 1 on the bottom of your fraction, on your ratio. Okay, so this animal can go 150 miles in 2 hours. What math are we going to use? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? Which one of those functions are we going to use to get to the unit rate? You have to divide, right? This means divide. 150 divided by 2 hours. So if you did 150 divided by 2, or 150 over 2, same thing, okay? You would get what? 75. So 75 miles per hour is the unit rate, we got it into 1 hour, of the fastest animal. Can you guess what it is? It has dots, spots like this. Yes, most of you already knew. It is the cheetah. Cheetah is number 1, and it can travel to speeds up to 75 miles per hour. Woo, that's pretty fast. All right. So before we end this lesson and this intro lesson on unit rate for tomorrow, Wednesday's lesson in class, let's go over some common unit rates that you might come in contact with so that you are familiar with those abbreviations. We already went over one. One would be miles per hour. When you see that line, it means per, miles per hour. What's another one you could think of? We already did price per ounce. And I put price because this could be in dollars, it could be in cents, okay? You might also see this as cost per item. Ooh, this is a good one. Your mom would not be able to buy you those school supplies you needed without earnings per week. Or this week could be maybe earnings per month, a year, a salary, okay, earnings per week, earnings per month, earnings per year. Or another one, if we're not in the United States, you, instead of miles per hour, you might see kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour, okay? All right, so that's unit rate. The basic function we did today with unit rate is setting it up in a ratio and dividing. So bring these notes tomorrow, and we're going to play a fun little game to see if you did saw the video, and then we're going to do a lesson, and we might be virtually grocery shopping. So get ready for that. See you then. Bye. You can come in.